everyone. Hi, Ken.
Hello.
Hi, Anami, Erzana. Great.
Dobar dan.
Dobar dan. Perfect.
Hello.
Great to see you all. Hi, Maria. Where are you coming from?
I am in Notting Hill.
Nice. Great to see you. Anami, what about you?
I'm from Holland, Utrecht.
That's great as well. Alexandra?
Slovenia, Ljubljana.
Nice to see you. Also, we have some messages here in chat. Hi, Boyana. Hi, Isabel. Perfect. Before we continue, I would like to wait a couple of minutes just to see as many participants as I can. Okay, on this page, definitely my mug is having a sense, girl power, because everyone are girls. It makes sense. Hi, Eddie, always lovely to see you, and thank you for joining all of our events.
Goedemiddag, hello.
Hello, hello. Okay, perfect. First of all, I hope that all of you had an amazing day. And I really want to say thank you for giving us your after working hours, including our lovely Anna and Jolanta, who are the main participants of this webinar. For everyone who didn't have the chance to see me, my name is Milica, and I will be your host today. As you know, Heartcount is the organizer of this type of events because we really like to share knowledge with the community. And I really think that Anna and Jolanta will be really amazing in sharing some great tips and tricks on this topic, but we will get there. However, as I said, it's great to see you here after working hours, and that refers to everyone from Europe. But I know that we have some participants from US as well. So good morning to all of you. Today, we are here to actually talk about really hottest HR topics, such as how to solve conflicts in hybrid environment. And we are pretty much aware that even the most people-centric cultures can have hiccups when it comes to dealing with tensions and conflicts, from identifying it when it happens to dealing with it and solving it quickly. Now, when most of us are working in a hybrid model, recognizing conflicts via channels such as email or Zoom can be even more challenging, and I really think that all of you will agree with me. Plus, according to Leadership Essentials, that's actually one of the platforms where I found that information, there is 4 types of conflicts related to hybrid working mode. And that's actually performance conflict, identity conflict, data conflict, and social conflict. And I really would like to hear, did you recognize some of those, any of you? And if you have anything to add, feel free to do it in a comment box. So did you have the chance to actually meet some of those challenges, any of you. Okay, definitely we will learn more about it. As well, I already mentioned that today we have Anna and Jolanta, like our main panelists. First of all, Anne Bourguignon is coming in front of company Emakina, Belgium, and she is creativity department director. She will tell more about health additionally. And Jolanta Żarnoch from WebTalk, she's actually HR director, and her company is coming from Poland. Through Heartcount cooperation, we actually noticed that they're nurturing amazing business culture. And basically that gave us an insight that they will be really people that actually will share some great tips how we can solve and prevent conflicts. So girls, first of all, thank you so much for your time and for your wish to give back to community. Welcome once again. And I really would like that both of you actually give a short introduction about your roles and your companies, because that will be the best way for our audience to understand your background. Anne or Jolanta, you can start.
All right. Thank you, Milika, and thank you for your invitation. It's very nice to see some of you. Well, I'm Anne Bourguignon, as you mentioned. I work at Emakina BE. I've been working at Emakina for a very long time, since the beginning of Emakina, actually. Emakina is a full digital agency, so we work for the users. So we work for our clients, but the clients are of our clients as well. So we are in more than 23 offices around the world. We've been acquired by EPAM a few months ago. And about my missions, I have two main missions at Emakina. One is being the production director for the creativity team, and the other one being the talent management. And in this case, talent management doesn't include recruitment. So it's about well-being and career journey. And why am I mentioning those two missions is because I'm still in also the production, which is very an added value for me for my role as a talent manager as well, because I know what's going on. I still have a foot in the processes, and I'm still working a lot with the people directly. So voilà, this is in a nutshell a little bit about me.
Perfect, thank you.
So yeah, thanks for having me. I'm Jolanta, and I'm the HR director here at WebTalk, which is a digital marketing agency with almost 80 amazing people on board. And I'm actually celebrating 5 years in the company now. So together with my teammates, we're responsible for all the HR and communication processes in WebTalk and two other sister agencies, Endorphina Events and Next Level, that form a marketing group with over 100 employees. And WebTalk, being a people-first company, being a people-first company was always our most important value and a part of our company culture. So happy to be here today with you and share some thoughts and experiences with you.
That's great. Thank you both. It's great to have you here, actually. Okay, before we start with really relevant questions, I just want to highlight that to our audience, that you can add any question you want in the comment box as long as we have this session. It will last like 45 minutes, but if you think that we skipped something important, feel free to leave a comment, and we will have later on Q&A session. So we will give our best to answer to all of your questions, definitely. Okay. I really would like for both of you actually to tell me how you are identifying the source of the conflict. Jolanta, you are on my main screen, so you can start.
Okay. So having a great mix of creative and really expressive people in WebTalk was always the best part of my job. But that said, it can be a challenge when dealing with conflict. So what would I do personally is basically open up the conversation. I would listen and observe actively. I would set up one-on-one meetings and give both or more parties a chance to speak up about their issues. I rarely ask about the conflict directly. I try to ask open questions and just listen. Don't interrupt, don't offer immediate solutions, because this can be a great exercise in conflict resolution for the employee or the manager. Just talk about their issues, and sometimes actually all it takes is for someone to listen, and solution comes up naturally. So listening is the most important part, and asking open questions like, why do you think the situation happened, and how do you think we got here? So listening is the first part. And working, especially during the pandemic, when you don't meet your coworkers daily face to face, it's also really helpful to use tools that help you identify the conflict at its early stage. So Heartcount was really helpful for me this past year, because I was able to follow all the downward trends in teams or individuals and react when necessary. So if you don't have Heartcount, basically you can do follow-ups, regular follow-ups with the managers, with the most important employees. I don't know, get surveys or evaluations. It can be a good alternative in those hard times of remote work.
Perfect. Thank you for that answer. Just, I will go one step back, because I thought it's actually something that everybody knows, but both of the companies and WebTalk and Emakina as well, they are still on a hybrid working mode. So Jolanta, you can also share, is that like your long-term plan at this stage, or you are planning to come back to the offices?
We plan to come back to the office as early as possible, because we see many advantages of working closely, directly, face-to-face. But now, when it's still not really safe, we give our employees the option to work remotely if they feel safer. But we don't also, ban from coming to the office. So it's really up to them. But we keep, as healthy standards being here in the office. So no big meetings in closed spaces and so on. So, but we want to go back as early as possible.
Makes sense. But while you're still on this hybrid working mode, how actually you're recognizing, great, you have Heartcount, I understand that, but what is that moment when you recognize basically that something is happening with someone? What is that indicator basically?
I think that the first thing is that we have like all those crises at work, because something is not done. We have a conflict between teams, so the final product is not up to our quality standards. So we can see right there that something went wrong on the process. So maybe there was something between the teammates, or
Okay, cool. Thank you for that answer. Anna?
Maybe.
Emakina.
Yes, maybe something I could add is when someone is, we have Heartcount, so we also use it. And if someone doesn't answer anymore, or someone doesn't participate during a stand-up, someone is quiet, if we see that we have difficulties delivering, that's a sign, that's some signs that we should pay more attention. or someone turning off the camera, like not showing up. I mean, that's also a sign of, not being there really with the team and participating.
Yeah.
So especially with the remote working.
Oof, it's really not easy.
Well, we need to get used to it and to find other ways and to open the discussion about it. And sometimes to have some, I don't like to say rules, but some recommendation about like having, if you have a meeting and it's a kickoff, for example, please turn on your camera, and maybe we can have a kickoff and turn it into a brainstorm session, or leave some room for brainstorm session so people can participate, which means that they are working together to reach a goal. And so, which means that there will be more commitment. So, yeah.
And tell me, what are the most common challenges in Emakina nowadays? Why might conflicts happen?
Well, we have, some people are not happy. It can also be because of a personal situation. Being at home all the time is not always easy, especially if you have a small apartment with kids, for example. But of course, so we have surveys that we send survey. We have Heartcount, so every week we check the results of Heartcount, but we also have surveys. And what we do, we try to have to install best practices, like having a huddle every morning with the team, or having, I already mentioned the kickoff, having a common goal, so we know why every morning we come and we turn on our camera and we participate. Having common goals is very important for us. What other challenge we're facing? Yeah, sometimes like being working remotely, and some people are working at the office, and that will be the future as well, I think. It's sometimes difficult because you have people who see each other a lot and have social moments together, which means that there is something special between them. And you might feel a little bit apart from that when you're working from home. And some people, they won't come back to the office quite often, first because they live far away, and it's much more convenient for them to work from home. And also because we have, it's an international company, so we work more and more with our colleagues remotely, which is also an advantage, of course. But we need to find the good balance, and always to open the discussion. And something Jolanta mentioned that I really liked, and I would like to insist on taking a break. When you start discussing with the people and listen to them, it's like first thing to do is take a break. Stop. If you together where we are situated here in Brussels, the office is next to the forest, which is great. So when we're working from the office, we say, okay, you know what? We're gonna have a walk outside. It's sometimes good to pause, and you cannot do that when you work remotely. But what you can do is to say, okay, let's have a meeting, somewhere else. Or I mean, not in the huddles or not in the stand-up in the morning, and take a break and maybe also discuss about something else, during the call.
It's perfect, because actually those small getaways from routine means a lot. And why I actually asked you this, because I've read in one of the articles that especially now in this hybrid mode, there are common challenges for companies, such as that you as an individual can have trouble managing your time because it's quite different than before, that team communication feels fragmented, that basically technology trips you up, or you're literally not visible, or you're feeling the FOMO. And that's really, it's not a myth, it really exists. I felt it as well. That's why I'm asking how you are coping with that. And did you actually recognize some of those challenges?
Yeah, well, we've been giving some trainings, like how to manage your time. So it's sometimes with someone external coming and helping us, and giving trainings. And sometimes we also do more and more, actually, we do peer-to-peer training. Why? Because it's good to have someone who knows our clients, the way of working, the difficulties that we might face. So we ask people to brainstorm together, to work in a workshop, for example, and to to exchange each other some tips. And it's also build not a community, but really the team spirit, because they're helping each other. So they know that when they're facing difficulties, they can call someone, because they were in this workshop where they exchange about difficulties or tips and tricks. And so they know that they can count on each other, which is, I think, quite important in this situation.
Definitely. And do you think that actually what was the biggest value of that type of training? Did they manage to improve their time management or anything they were bothered with?
Yes, I think, well, when you go on training, because I went into a training like a few weeks ago, and when I came back, I was really, so full of energy, and I wanted to apply everything, I learned, and it was great. It was a great training, by the way. But also, I believe that because it was external, in few months or maybe few weeks, maybe I will retain a little part of it, which is already good, of course, and it's already a great success. But when it's internal, it has an impact right away. But you can also have so small reminders during, a monthly meeting. We having like bi-weekly meetings, like 20 minutes meetings during lunchtime, just to communicate about our projects, new social activities. And sometimes it's also, a small reminder. So it could be a reminder of something you learned, some tips or some. And what I like about peer-to-peer coaching and so internal coaching is that the teachers or your peers or your mentors are still in the house, So they can remind you, they can observe the impact. And if they think that the impact could be even better, they can give you some feedback. So it's an ongoing process, and it's not one stop and just one training and then that's it.
Yeah, makes sense completely. Okay, cool. Jolanta, would you like to add something?
I can for sure say that the things you mentioned, the challenges that we can all see that, like the poor communication, especially when working remotely. Written messages often sent in a hurry can be misinterpreted, and you see the final message, but you cannot see the intentions behind it. So yeah, we've all been there, like receiving the same message with or without a smiley face at the end can be read completely differently. So so that can create tensions, misunderstanding, and cause a conflict that could be easily avoided with one phone call or just meeting face to face in the office. Something that Anna also mentioned, that working towards a goal that's common for everyone is really important, and misunderstanding of each other's roles in the process can also be a challenge, because I've seen it before working in a marketing agency with tight deadlines and a lot of different types of personalities. People get tunnel vision and they focus only on their part of the assignment. So they tend to lose empathy for their colleagues, especially when they are getting an ASAP request at 4:30 p.m. So that's also a big challenge. And of course, stress, anxiety, overload. I think we've all became experts in this area in the past 2 years, unwillingly. We've all read researches and seen this on ourselves that the pandemic has really pushed us dangerously towards the edge, and that's why it's really important for the HR departments and team managers to take care of employees' well-being. So that's
definitely. And actually, I have conclusion. So I just want one quickie answer from both of you before we do a deep dive. Sorry, I'm also tired, so my English is like hell, but okay. Are you basically working more on solving conflicts or preventing them?
Should I start?
Just a short question, just a short answer. So prevention or solving a conflict?
Yeah, prevention is key for sure. And prevention is better than cure, but we cannot also view every conflict as a bad thing. But I think, we definitely want to prevent all the conflicts. Who likes them?
Okay, Anna?
Yeah, I mean, we had a discussion. I mean, we prepared it a bit, and Jolanta, you mentioned that conflicts are also good, and I believe you're right. Sometimes it's like I like to observe animals. Like when you see like some dogs, in the forest, and they meet, sometimes they fight. And you should let them fight, and then they find the balance. And I like that idea. And of course, we do a lot of prevention as well. But sometimes it just has to happen, the conflicts.
Yeah, that's actually a great comparison. I love it. And you're completely right. But regarding the prevention, okay, it's always healthy to have some type of conflicts. I agree. But what tools and action you take in prevention? Anna, you can start.
So what we do is, Heartcount is a great tool for that. I use it a lot, and especially the comments. So of course there are 3 questions and everyone answers the questions, but you also have the possibility to add comments.
Mm-hmm.
And usually we receive really useful comments. And so every week we have a look at them, and sometimes they just mention that the situation is not correct for them. And then we contact the manager or we contact the person directly. We also have surveys that we send. But the first thing we want to do is we create safe place, to make sure that people, because if you're not in a safe place, people might not answer or might not participate, or some people are also shy. This is why I really like Heartcount, by the way, because it's open also for shy people. Because during a one-to-one with your manager or with someone from HR, it might be difficult for shy people to answer. And Heartcount really helped them for that. Or sometimes, as I mentioned before, when they stop answering, it's also a sign, that we should pay attention. We also have one-to-ones, of course, with the people, and the managers also have one-to-ones. And I have a meeting with the leadership team of each team every month. And we also have social events like online and offline, both.
And when you mentioned that people stopped answering, do you have any fun fact over there? What did you discover actually when people stopped answering? How long they didn't answer, and how much time you need to actually figure out that something is wrong, and what output you had after that?
Well, sometimes it's not easy, depending on your team and the involvement of the managers. Because the way we are structured, every manager should have a look of the answers of their team every week. And I have a look, an overall look. You know, so for me, it's sometimes difficult to spot, but for them, you know, they have some results. They can have a look at the results every week, but you also provide some reports, and you also send some emails, you know, every month. I think, I'm not sure about the if it's every month, but every month, every manager receives an email with some reporting. So we can also identify, you know, at what stage the person, if we go into the details, we go in the admin and we see, okay, this person has not answered for, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 weeks. And actually we don't wait, we contact the person, you know, when we realize that this person is not answering anymore, we ask them why. That's the first question, you know, it's not, and there is no obligation to answer, but if there is a change, you know, if something changes, it's probably because of something. So we have just an open question. Why this change? Is it something? And sometimes, you know, the first answer is, oh no, you know, don't have any problem. And then, you know, you talk about something else, and or you talk about the project, and you talk about the mission of the person, or what the future. Do you have, you know, enough perspective? Do you have enough trainings? Do you like working with your colleagues? Do you like your team? And then something arrives. You find it, and yeah, fortunately, we can, you know, support this person and put things in place to make this person feels better. And something I really would like to mention is when we realize someone needs support and we put something in place, the next step and the follow-up of the action plan is crucial. You know, because I mean, sometimes, you know, you have okay, let's do this, let's put this in place. We do the first step, maybe the second one, but you know, it's only the beginning of the resolution of the problem, you know, and so we need to pay attention for weeks, sometimes months.
Yeah, that's a lot of time, but actually it's amazing that your people are open that way to tell you honestly what is going on, even though maybe they're not aware on a conscious level, but when you do a little bit of digging, then you realize what is going on. Perfect. Okay, thank you for sharing that. Jolanta, what about a WebTalk situation regarding
of course, what Anna said is I can totally relate. Heartcount is really helpful, but taking a step back, I think that the best way to prevent frequent misunderstandings and conflict is to build a healthy and open company culture, and a place where at the end of the day, no matter how hard it was, everyone feels too proud to work at. And like I said, I'm lucky to work in a company that celebrates amazing people, and where I can, together with my team, bring even the craziest ideas to life when we feel it can contribute to a better workplace. So like Anne said, initiatives, online and offline, are also a thing here. Also, inclusivity is one of our most celebrated values. Not only on paper, we create a safe space, we ensure equal pay, we engage in common initiatives that are close to our hearts, like pro bono projects for minority support and humanitarian organizations. And this can be really rewarding and remind people what we do and why we do it, and that it can contribute to something really great. We make sure we maintain open and transparent communication in both good and bad times. We do weekly updates, and we started doing that at the beginning of pandemic, and we are still doing that. Our CEO actually does like a 15-minute Facebook group live video where he tells about everything that's going on in the company, even if it's bad or even if it's really good. We all are on the same level of understanding what's happening, and I know for a fact that everybody really appreciated that, especially at the beginning, of the pandemic, when we were really uncertain and scared of what will happen next. I don't know. We also have our traditions, like things to wait for, and in the midst of the pandemic, we made sure everyone was included. Working offline, online, in the office we have quite a lot of those. Like we did our annual awards gala, and last year we did it completely online. We were wearing remote work outfits, so business on the top and and casual on the bottom. And so we did Netflix watching parties. We created music videos for special occasions. We celebrate important milestones for all the employees. Like I have this cool jacket on that I actually received for my 5 years in the company. So all those things that help you feel like you're included and you're a part of the company are really helpful, because then when we have this open and nice company culture, everyone, even if you're in a conflict situation, can remember what's important and why we do what we do.
I'm amazed. So basically, your prevention is that human approach, and just to obtain that community together.
Yeah. We also that's a really thing that's working for us. Maybe not in every company, but we don't have. There's no limit for paid days off. So you would imagine that some employees would abuse it, but really there is no such thing here. When there's a mutual trust and respect between employer and employees, this can be a really great tool to prevent burnout, and that comes from a person that just recently has taken a full month off, and really it helps you get on track, and especially in those times that we are in.
Okay, and in that case, can you actually correlate some of the things from Heartcount? How Heartcount help you to diagnose potential or actual conflict? Is that in correlation with burnout or some other segments maybe?
We have like the similar process like Anne does. Me and my teammates, we look at Heartcount weekly and try to identify downward trends in team or employee. And firstly, we would, of course, not go directly to this person and ask what's happening. We try to get to know the situation and try to determine what's happening, if that's a one-time thing or that's a trend that comes for, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks. And when necessary, we try to intervene, me alone or with the help of a team leader. And like I said before, ask open questions, even schedule a short call or if we're in the office, catch someone at the coffee and just ask, how are you feeling? What's happening with you? How are your clients' projects? How's your team? And try to determine what's happening.
That's perfect. Okay, in that case, I would love to tell you that we have a lot of questions here in this comment box, as you can see, and all of them are really, really concrete and practical. So I really would like to take 10 minutes to try to answer to all of them, even though I think that both Jolanta and Anna actually already gave you some answers, but we will go through every single of them. I think that actually Anna mentioned that sometimes people are demotivated, or at least that's the sign when they're turning their camera off. So Anna, can you tell to Anami, how do you motivate the person who keeps camera off?
Well, actually, I asked them to turn it on. As simple as that. But I mean, I motivate them. You know, I just don't ask it. I'm like, oh, how are you? It's great to see you. Oh, well, actually, I'm not seeing you. You know, it would be great if we haven't seen each other for such a long time. You know, it would be very nice to see you. I always find a way, you know, to ask them to turn it on. But I'm thinking about project managers, for example. For them, it's sometimes more difficult. So we have also some guidance, you know. And if at one point, you know, the same person is not turning on the camera like for several days or weeks, then I think someone will directly ask this person to, you know, it's just nicer, you know, to see your colleagues. We don't meet them at the office, or at least if we can see them, that's the least we can do.
Absolutely.
I do agree, Anna. I asked that question because I have quite a big team, and I do have some people who keep switching their camera off default wise.
Yeah.
And I tried the same tricks, saying, hi, I'm sorry, my hair is not okay. I hope you don't mind. I'm not, my camera is on. I'm trying to make a joke about it and trying to trigger them to put their camera on. But I often have that problem when we have stand-up meetings with more than 5 or 10 people. And there's always the same people who keep shutting off. When it's a small group, people always connect camera-wise. But when we have the stand-ups with more than 10 or 15 people, I do feel that some colleagues, try to isolate themselves in any way. And I'm a bit. I don't want to be the chef saying, please put on your cameras, all of you. It's more polite. It's more agreeable for everybody. So
maybe
that's
something.
difficult.
Yeah, maybe something you can do is maybe at one point, I don't know if you have some retrospective about your daily stand-up, or you could discuss about, you know, could we agree on some rules during on stand-up meetings? And it doesn't have to come from you, actually.
Yeah,
it can also come from the teams, you know, how to improve our daily stand-ups, for example.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
That could be part of it.
And make it a democratic choice.
Well, at one point we had during the lockdown, because it was the beginning of the pandemic, and people were not always comfortable with the camera. And at one point, during a monthly meeting, our managing director mentioned it. They said, well, it would be nice, you know, guys, that we see your face when you have a meeting. You know, it shows respect to the people and to the person who prepared the meeting. Or so we also had the sign from them, which also helped, I think.
Yeah, thank you.
Very welcome.
For asking the question. Okay, next one. Eva asked us, what is the employee's approach to returning to the office? Are they willing to come back, or they prefer home office? I think that Jolanta already gave a partial answer, but you can actually elaborate a little bit.
So yeah, it's a really an individual case. So we have some employees that really prefer working from home because they can focus, they have, you know, silence, and they can work however they want. But like I said before, creating this company culture that celebrates working together in the office and having common initiatives really helps to get people back to the office, because we are on and off for the last 2 years from working in the office and in the hybrid mode. So I see that when we communicate that we are going back to the office, we don't have like, bad reactions, because we all miss people and human interactions. So I think it of course depends on what work are you doing, because we work in teams, we work in different teams. We are, creative people working with creative processes. So it's really easy to work from the office. But I know there are some people like, IT specialists that really prefer to work from home. And, it's basically up to you and your organization what is the best solution for you.
So Eva, I really hope you actually got your answer.
Yes, great. Thank you so much, Jolanta. Yes.
Thank you, Jolanta, as well. I think that Jolanta already mentioned a bunch of actions that are creating a safe place. So I would like to hear from Anna. Maria actually asked, what do you do to create a safe place? So Anna, you can share a bit Emakina experience.
It's not an easy one. Because you can create an environment to be a safe place, but you cannot, it's like motivation. You cannot ask someone to be motivated. You can create, an atmosphere and bring motivation. And yeah, I think I'm going to take the Heartcount example. There are some questions about the company, how you feel in the company. Do you think you are paid enough? So very direct questions, but every answers we receive, we will never use it, like against anyone. We always show that, and it's really true, that we are supporting them and the feedback we receive. And so we encourage them to exchange and share feedback, because we want them to grow. So it's okay to give feedback, like a praise, for example, praise someone, but it's also okay to give a tip to your colleague or to even your manager, because by giving a tip to this person, it means that you want this person to become better. So you want this person to grow. And so it's not easy, because we realize that when we, for example, we launch reviews, the feedback we receive, the peer-to-peer feedback, because there are different types of feedback. When it's peer-to-peer feedback, it's very, very positive, which is good. It means that, colleagues like to support each other, and they're doing a great job. But we also, I sometimes mention to them, give also some tips. When I give a training internally, I ask them at the end, please don't give me any praise. Give me some tips, because I want to grow. But it comes, and we have some trainings about how to give feedback to a colleague, because we want them to feel secure, to be able to, share and express themselves. And it comes with time, I think. You cannot call your place, this is a safe place, and feel safe and everything's going to be all right. No, I mean, it's experience. They need to experience it, and then they give the words to the colleagues, and people start feeling comfortable when they understand that we really there for them, and we care about them.
I would say that actually you're doing a great trust build up over there, and without that trust, there is no safe environment. Definitely. Cool. Thank you. Okay. Anna, you also asked one of the questions regarding the comments you mentioned, Anna. What about privacy with regards to the personal comments? In my organization, that would be a delicate issue. You can give a brief explanation that actually Heartcount comments are anonymous to people who are observing the data. So you can give that answer from your perspective afterward. I will give an addition.
So Actually, I'm going to be honest, Milika, we used to have another tool in place before Heartcount.
I know.
And the answers were anonymous. We didn't have more answers. And the problem we faced is that sometimes you have very important feedback coming from someone, but you don't know who. So you have someone with difficulties, and you would like to support that person, and you can't. And sometimes, I mean, once I remember I couldn't sleep because I saw a very negative feedback, and this person really needed support. I finally found who this person was, and I went to talk to that person. And this person told me, "Oh yeah, don't worry about it. It was a kind of a joke." I was like, "What?" So to me, it was one experience, of course, but so it's about also creating a safe place. It's about trust, as Milika mentioned. So if you want to have trust, I mean, it cannot be anonymous. And we mention it, and it's written down in the emails that everyone receives every Friday at 11. It's written down like your answer are only visible by your manager and the people team. So it's only by them.
Yeah, because I asked that question because we have an annual survey. We don't have the application like Heartcount. We have a well-being survey, and we just finished the last one, and we are looking into the results. And because we explicitly mentioned that they are completely anonymous, so that people can feel safe about giving remarks to the comité de direction. Or to their managers, or to their colleagues, whatever. Of course, in the way some of the answers are written, as I'm in the board of directors, I have access to all the details, and I can detect who has been writing what, because the only thing we know is that the person has answered from one service. Only the services is mentioned. But I think it can be dangerous saying to a person that, okay, you can safely express yourself, and then confronting him or her with the comment he or she gave in the survey or in the Heartcount. So I think it's a tricky one, and in my organization, it's very important. With our ondernemingsraad, they explicitly asked us to do service completely anonymously, so that people can freely express and freely ventilate any frustrations they have. Mm-hmm. And we will work on team level, but we won't work towards one person in particular. So that's why I asked the question when you guys were talking about Heartcount, and that you sometimes feel responsible for somebody and want or try to find support. And now I understand within the Heartcount app, if it says your comment is only visible for your manager or your director, okay, that's safe enough, probably. Yeah.
Is because companies in advance, they're deciding who will have a data insight. But Anami, I really would love to schedule a meeting with you after this webinar so we can get to know each other better. And I would love to hear more about how your company is operating over there on in human relations. So definitely we will get in touch. And
She's doing some prospection on the side.
Thank you for sharing that. Okay, since we have 6 minutes more, I don't want to cut anyone off. This is the last question that I will read from our audience. How to develop managers, team leaders in a hybrid environment to focus on signs of future conflicts? I would love to hear answers from both of you.
Okay, so I think what I can say from my perspective is to make sure they communicate with all the team members on a, I don't know, daily or weekly basis. It depends how big the teams are, of course. But as Anna said earlier, and we have the same role here at WebTalk, that we try to help them and to give them, tips on from Heartcount surveys. And when we see a downward trend in a individual employee, we would say, like, maybe you should focus on this person more now, and maybe you should schedule more calls or more meetings with him, her. Maybe she needs additional help. Maybe she's or he's not feeling, I don't know, that he or she understands what's his role in the process. So we try to help them with the tool, but we also encourage them to be in a constant contact with their team members, because that's actually the most important thing, and we can easily forget about this when we are working remotely and have like a full day of calls scheduled. But it's really important to communicate, even at WebTalk with the directors. We have like 3 times a week, 15-20-minute call with our CEO, just to check in if everything is okay, if anybody's having any problems that maybe one of us can help you with. So the communication is really the most important thing, and the most important advice we can give to the team leaders.
Actually, the conclusion might be the feedback, the real communication, actually communication in real time, and retrospective. Stop and take a look. What have you done? Actually follow up on that.
Sure.
I agree completely. If I may add one thing,
Please.
is have a plan. Because I mean, it's good to have a plan, to communicate it, and to sometimes go back to the plan and check what we've done, what we haven't done, what worked, what didn't work, and what we should change to improve. And prepare, be ready, prepared, take the time to prepare, and give the time also to the managers to do this follow-up.
Exactly.
Because it takes time.
Definitely, you're completely right. I'm not quite sure how much time they have to make plans, but definitely that's like the essential.
Yes, I think so.
Okay, thank you, girls, for your answers. I really hope that the rest of our audience found it relevant, because I really enjoyed, and I hope that you enjoyed it as much as I did. Now my conclusion will be, I really didn't have any intent to present Heartcount in this way, but I'm super happy to hear that Heartcount is actually covering so many segments in your companies and helping you to diagnose different things. For everyone who didn't have the chance to get to know Heartcount as a tool before, Heartcount basically is a software as a service that is helping you to find out in real time what is going on with your employees, how to prevent potential escalations or of any challenges, to stop your people from leaving the company, to help them not to burn out, or provide them with additional material resource. Whatever it is, Heartcount can really help you. So whoever is interested, I really would love to get to know you after this webinar. Anyhow, you will receive the material, and definitely we can get to know each other much better and see, can Heartcount maybe be also a good addition to your companies and help you to prevent and solve potential conflicts. Anna, Jolanta, thank you once again so much. I really enjoyed it. Your answers were amazing and so practical, and I really hope that people who listened to us actually will be able to modify it and apply it in their companies.
It was a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Have a great evening. Bye-bye to all.
Have a good evening. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.